Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We have one of my favorite airplanes, the Grumman Cougar. So Grumman makes a lot of my favorite airplanes. Panther and the Cougar are definitely one of them. When this airplane came out, this model came out, the Freewing Cougar, I was pretty disappointed with a number of its features and some of its scale issues, so I decided to fix them, and man, I am super happy with the results. So if you have a keen eye, you'll notice the canopy is different. Let me grab the stock one here for a second. That is the stock canopy. So look at that. Cartoony, not great. Scale, and just totally, to me, transforms the look of the whole airplane. Another thing you'll notice is these stars and bars. So the original ones are about 25-30% smaller, and even I had these made by Cali Graphics, and I think I had her make them I should have had her made them like a 1/4 inch bigger. That's how picky I am about this stuff. But this looks much better. So 1 is the size, 2 is the color. They were way too light. And you'll notice I had her make me some for the wing as well. These are slightly larger than those originals and the right color. So as you can see, I started doing some weathering as well. Now this thing, I changed the pilot, obviously. I got this from my friend Chris Wolf. So it's a Hanger Hobbies pilot. I made the canopy myself. So I happened to I had a plug that I had made for a Cougar canopy years ago. If you don't remember, Hobby King had a fiberglass Cougar for a 90mm, and it was exactly the same size as this model. And I had forgotten that I'd made a canopy plug for it, and I thought, I wonder if that's the same size. Sure enough, it is exactly the same size. So I made a canopy. This is all bondoed in. So I glued the canopy down to well, at first I modified the cockpit. Just added a little bit of detail in there, nothing crazy. So I did that first, glued the canopy down, and then all this is Bondo to fill it in and make this radius and make it fit to the body. So I didn't just make one big piece. This is all body work and then painted. So I got to add the panel line for the actual canopy still. I got to finish the weathering, and I think it's really going to make this thing look really, really cool when it's done. Another thing I did was I I went over all the yellow with a darker yellow, like a deeper yellow. So I did that, but let me flip this bad boy over and show you guys the pièce de résistance, or however the hell you say it. So I have added speed brakes. Somebody made some 3D printed ones, and those are cool, but they're not super scale, and I don't think they're big enough either. So I made these myself out of fiberglass, and I made the body flaps out of fiberglass as well. And the way you do that is I just put some packing tape over the area. Well, first I put some low tack masking down so I didn't pull the paint off. Then I put packing tape. Then I did a 3-layer fiberglass layup on top of that. When it's cured, you pop it off, you trim it, and then cut them out, hinge it, and drill the holes. Same process for the body flaps. This is Depron right here. Actually, it's just a little cover, but I hogged out all this foam in here, mounted the servos. Kind of hard to see them. Servos are mounted down in there. They're on a Y cord, so I had to get both of these to work exactly the same and everything. I mean, they're pretty close. This is a single servo in there, but Robart hinges, just 2 on each one. Same with the speed brakes. So I had to cut some of the cheater hole out, obviously. And if you don't know, it's funny because the panel lines are there, but they moved the landing gear back on this airplane from scale like 1.25 inches. This right here is the panel lines for the scale gear doors. Like, that's where they should be. So the gear should be really close to the CG, and that's probably why they moved them back. My CG right now I'm running is right here at the front of this little lobe, so it's about an inch and a quarter behind the mark. And this flies really nice right there, so that would have put the CG super close to the main gear. As it is, it's not bad, but that being said, because the gear moved back and the body flaps are up against the gear, the body flaps are actually a hair smaller than scale. They should have come to about right here. So they should have been quite a bit bigger actually, but these look pretty good. I'm not upset with them. And they meet up with the flap, which is how they're supposed to, but the flap should be bigger as well. This line right here is where the flap should be. The flaps on a Cougar are gigantic, so the flaps should have come from here all the way down to here, and then the body flap here. But it is what it is. It's a foamy. But I have a jet hanger kit of a Cougar right there, and I am just messing with this one has me super pumped to build that airplane now, because that one will be scale. It'll be perfect. So anyways, I'm getting carried away now. I'm just too excited about this airplane. Another thing I did was, if you have one of these Cougars, you know the stock flaps end right here. So I cut that section off that's molded to the body, attached it to the flap, had to make a little plywood cover on the top side. I can show you that if I flip back over. And then also I extended the flap out on the outboard section. I cut some of the aileron off and made this out of Depron, just stacked up Depron. I wanted to actually make these shorter, but because I think the flap comes out a little bit farther for scale. The real one has a little trimmer here. That's what that panel line is, which acts as the aileron trim, but it doesn't have ailerons. It has spoilers on the real one. So there's a panel line on top, and that's the spoilers open up one side at a time for roll control on these things. But anyways, so this is all done. I now have to weather everything. So I got the starting bar here too. So I got to weather it all up. I'm going to paint some of these little things white underneath here just to kind of make it all match. You can see I trimmed off my detachable drop tank things. The drop tanks to me didn't look right, so I didn't want these big huge magnet things sticking up, so I just trimmed them off to where the hard point should be. I like the way the hard point looks, but didn't care for the tanks. I do like the little missiles. Those are kind of cool, but I kind of prefer the airplane clean. So anyways, I'm gonna weather it all up, and then we'll finish this video up, and I'll do a functioning, I'll show you guys how it all functions together. But anyways, yeah, I'm super stoked on this thing and can't wait to fly it with the new goodies on it. Alright guys, so here we are. This is not my best weathering job. Truth be told, this was a real quickie, just kind of meh, whatever. I'm probably going to repaint this thing at some point anyway, so it was late last night. I just kind of threw some stuff on it. So anyways, I am in love with this thing. It looks so much cooler now with the speed brakes and the body flaps, and I can't wait to fly it. Turned out really cool. Let's get it flipped over so you can see the top side. Again, not my best weathering. I might have gone a little overboard on some of the stuff. It actually looks pretty decent on video, but it's kind of darker in person. But anyways, super happy with how the body flaps and speed brakes turned out. Definitely loving the stars and bars and the canopy change. Made a big difference in my opinion. Turn it around here. I got some, I must have really got that cockpit sealed up nice, so I glued it on in San Diego, and it was pretty humid, and now I got humidity in the cockpit because there's no ventilation in there. So anyways, totally sweet. Look at that. Love it. Can't wait to fly this thing. So anyways, hope you guys like the mods, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one.